Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? So yeah, we had a few things happening. We had just a few, right? I mean, what was that wildness? Bitcoin, hit a new all-time high. Okay, fine. It hit a new all-time high by a few $100s. Before you get your panties in a bunch, I'm not trying to make you mad. Hold it. You know what? I got to ask the poll question. Should you guys are going to like this one. All right. So that's not what I wanted. I want that and I want that. Hello, Hutanic. Hello, Michael McCaskill. What's up? That's what I'm talking about. So it's at 109.5 right now. What do you want, a biscuit? You want a door prize right now? It's at 109,666 and now it's 580. It's still less than 110, but that's not the point. So we got that, and everybody's hyper focused on that particular piece. I'm not upset about it. I mean, because we're all kind of making money, right? So that's a cool thing. But let me get to tonight's question, and you guys will start to see where I'm coming from with this stuff. So it'd be nice if my notes were showing up. That'd be really cool. Ha 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 ha. All right. Oh, that's why. Okay, I got it. So my notes are right there. Rick Ritchie in the house. What's going on? What's good? So tonight's question. I'm pretty sure I know who answered that one first. Should Coinbase be forgiven for not notifying everyone about their data breach? And I apologize for the typo there. Instead of hitting the letter V, I hit the space bar. But I was in a rush. I was running a little bit late. Forgive me. Mea culpa. So before we get into that topic, let's talk about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is trying to bump up against 110. Okay. That's cool. Do I think it's going to go down? I think it'll go up a little bit more before it goes down. And when it goes down, it's going to go down a bit. But there's news out there that can make a person stop and wonder. And what would it make a person stop and wonder about? It would make a person stop and wonder about whether or not, sorry, my hands are ashy. You know how I feel about ashy hands. How do I feel about it going up? Going up is great. Going down, there's a lot of news, right? The global economy is hurting. And there are lots of things to point to. Yeah, the global economy is hurting. Japan's got serious inflation problems, right? Even Metaplanet's being looked at. You've got, name a country who's got a good economy. Maybe that's easier, right? Maybe that's easier. So, Hutanic, go to the corner. I'm not going to say it. I agree with you. I'm not going to say it. But, so you've got that. Even Mike Novogratz came out today and said, listen, with everything going so wrong, Bitcoin and crypto is basically where people are going to turn. And he's not wrong. Think about that. He's not wrong at all. Because you're going to turn to gold? Sure, you could. There's nothing wrong with that. But are you going to make the kind of money that you're going to make with crypto right now during an upswing? People thinking, yeah, maybe I should not be getting into gold right now. I'm definitely not going to get into a bank right now, right? So there's that. So Mike Novogratz is like, yeah, this is the perfect setup. It's kind of a perfect setup for for crypto. Moody's downgraded JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo to AA2. AA2. Why is that? You meant 109. So, because if it was 190, we would all be jumping for joy right now. Hello, 8 pause. Thank you for letting me know you're invested in yourself. But I want you to stop and think about this. I put a little too much lotion on, so I'm still rubbing. If you look at what's going on in the United States, why did those banks get downgraded? Well, the United States got downgraded, right? So that's one. Two, why would Mike Novogratz say what he's saying? Why would Jamie Dimon? I mean, I don't like what he has to say about crypto, but I do listen to the man because the man's been around for a minute, kind of knows what he's talking about. He's like, listen, we're not paying enough attention to this tariff nonsense. We got all kinds of problems that we're not paying attention to, and that's not the smartest thing in the world. So yeah, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to pay attention, right? By the way, 8 pause, I know that if it was at 190, you'd probably be running over there to Winnebago to get a new one while there's a fire sale going on, right? Yeah, because let me tell you, I'd like one. Anywho, when you look at that, it's kind of like, yeah, where would I go? I'm going to have to go to Bitcoin. I can't trust my banks. Look at how many banks are having trouble. Data this, data that, blah, blah, blah. Then you look at exchanges. I mean, skip it. We might as well have the conversation now. The data breach that everybody's talking about, where almost 70,000 people had their data stolen and threatened to be released. It probably was released. Let's not even play. And Coinbase, it happened in December. And Coinbase is just getting to everybody now. What? It happened in December. So there are no ramifications for Coinbase not telling somebody. They're a publicly traded company. They have rules. So what happens to Coinbase? Now, you know how I like to connect the dots to see if there's a picture there? I try to find the little pearls to see if there actually can be connected. Coinbase would like to buy USDC. They would like to buy Circle. Who here would trust Coinbase to run Circle the way that it should be run? Just raise your hand. Just raise your hand. Let me know. Because it's not going to be me. I don't think that. You couldn't let me know about it. It doesn't matter that I wasn't affected. I know somebody that was affected. Somebody in our community was affected. Think about that. Somebody in our community was affected. I'm not going to name names, even though he identified himself already. I'm not going to name any names. But so that person was affected. So we know what they did do, what they didn't do. Now, are you sure that it was only that roughly 70,000 people that were affected? It was like 69 and change. You might as well say 70,000. Are you sure it was just them? And you want to own Circle, second most popular stablecoin in the world. We want you to be in charge of that? Brian Armstrong, I told you before, Brian Armstrong is way off base. Way off base. I don't think there's smart guy. You could probably say that. I don't know him personally. He's probably a smart guy. To be the CEO of that company, he's probably a smart guy, right? So you got to give him that. But where's his head at? His head is definitely not in it. He must have come from the banks with the way he's acting. This happened in December, and we just got notified in May. Think about that. May. Hutanix like their support is pitiful. Likely with all the, can't say that word. Because I can feel my mother just standing right there, just waiting for me to slip up and say that. Because I have no excuse this time. It's not like I'm heated or something like that. So I have no excuse. So I'm not going to say that. Likely with all this stuff that's hitting my phone, computer, and calls on my phone every day. Yeah. Yeah. And I have to tell you, I do not believe that it was only the 70, roughly, little less than 70,000 people that were affected. I doubt that it was that number. I doubt it. And they're acting as if it's no big deal. It's nothing. And people wonder why me and a whole bunch of other people don't leave assets on centralized exchanges. And I can tell you now, especially not Coinbase, I have less than $1,000 on Coinbase in value on Coinbase right now. It's all OPM, but that's not the point. So yeah, I'm going to be moving that. Will I still use them for certain transactions? Yes, but I can't trust them to do anything correct, right? You have a breach in December, and then it doesn't come out until May that there was a breach? Huh. So that means that those hackers have been mucking around with whoever's data for almost 6 months. Let that wash over you for a minute, because it feels like, because right now, I can tell you right now, it still feels like it's the beginning of the year when it's not. We're in our 5th month. It's almost June. And I know it feels different because it's in New York, it's still chilly out. But think about that. Let that wash over you for a minute. So yeah, I'm going to leave that question up. Should Coinbase be forgiven for not notifying everyone about their data breach in December? Because, wow. I mean, seriously? Brian Armstrong should be fired. I'm not even kidding. I don't care if he was the number one shareholder of Coinbase. He should be fired. That's proof you do not care about your customers. You do not care about your clients. But you want all of them to put their money in on your exchange. Sort of like banks want you to put their money in the banks. And you know what kind of service you get there. This seems worse. This seems worse. It feels like a betrayal to me. Everybody's in crypto because they don't trust banks. And now you can see that, well, there's at least one exchange that you cannot trust. Cannot trust. So yeah, Brian Armstrong, he should get fired. The board of Coinbase should fire Brian Armstrong. Say goodbye. And I want you to think about this. And I know this is petty, but that's exactly why you should think about it. So instead of telling everybody about their breach, he offers fast track jobs to employees of Doge, of the Department of Government Efficiency. That's what he does. That was more important. That was more important, to fast track jobs for those people, but not let his customers know, his clients know, that they may have been affected by the data breach. That's interesting to me. Priorities. Thank you for the update, Hutanik. Bitcoin is now at 110. See what it's like when you have friends? They let you know stuff. They let you know stuff. But so now I have a problem. I might blip a little bit. I'm bringing up a website. So yeah, I'm just going to flash this over here for you guys so you can actually, Oh, that wouldn't be the one. Let me come back over here. Fix that. There you go. That would be the one. So yeah, so you can see Bitcoin achieving that new high. Look at that. It blipped all the way up here. That's where that green candle went. So yeah, that's some good stuff. That's definitely some good stuff. But still, 110. 110, pretty good. Pretty doggone good. So we'll have to move that green bar, or actually I'll probably just add another one to it. But seriously, when I look at Coinbase, the whole holier than thou attitude that the company kind of exuded, I think my first flash was when they had offered jobs. If I recall correctly, they had offered jobs to people, and then they decided to rescind those jobs. A lot of those people had already quit their other jobs to take the job they were going to have there, and then they rescinded the offers. That was the first hint that Coinbase was not what I thought it was. That's when I started saying, you know what, transactions only. We're going to have a transactional relationship where I'm not leaving my money on there. I don't give a crap about your staking. None of that. None of that. I'd rather not stake. I'd rather not stake and keep it on a hardware wallet or whatever other wallet I have that's non-custodial. But I'm not going to trust you. And here it is. It's even worse. And I'm serious. I'm on the record. I think Brian Armstrong should be fired. Some people would say, "Oh, that's a little harsh. That's going too far." But I think in this case, you waited almost 6 months. I mean, it's May. You did wait 6 months, 5 months, if you want to be technical. Fine, 5 months. You waited 5 months to let everybody know that there was a breach. Wow. And then your customer support didn't even kick in well enough. We should have been well informed. Like I said, if I'm in charge of a data breach, I'm going to get with my crew and get with my team, and I'm going to make sure that the people that I know were affected are notified and sent a message. And I'm going to also send a message to the people that I don't know whether or not they were affected, meaning that everybody's going to get a message. I'm going to make sure my customer service is prepared for all the phone calls, is prepared for the onslaught. He didn't do that. I will be moving my OPM, my bags off of there today, tomorrow timeframe. And I don't have a lot on there anymore. But it's the principle. It's the principle. I can't do it. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you're making us lose the moment. We're at an all-time high right now. 110,792, give or take a couple of bucks, a couple of beans, as per TradingView. $2.185 trillion is the current market cap of Bitcoin. And with all of that, I don't even think that's the biggest news. And don't get me wrong, it's good news, it's big news, but here's why I don't think it's the biggest news. You have so many other things going on. So many other things going on that could affect your bags. Inside crypto, outside of crypto. Let's start with OpenAI buying Johnny Ive's company, one of his companies. You might not know who he is, but if you have an iPhone, yeah, it's that guy. It's that guy. What does that say to you? It says that there's an artificial intelligence company out there that clearly wants to be involved in hardware. That's a big, bold move. That's not baby steps. That's not baby steps. OpenAI is a private company. Johnny Ive's company is a private company. His company just got bought for $6.4 billion. So if you're looking at stocks, if you're looking at crypto, what's the space that we might want to do some research in? Because you know what we do. We do our own research. We know our entries and exits, and we absolutely invest deliberately. So where should we be looking? Not in the ice cream section, right? I mean, artificial intelligence, D-pins is another space that I'd be looking at. All kinds of hardware that can go into anything. This crew is literally saying, you might not need an iPhone in the future. Let that wash over you for a minute. You might not need an iPhone in the future. What are they thinking? What device is it going to be? The other day I brought up Dick Tracy, the Dick Tracy watch, right? And I said, it's here. And it is. What about that universal communicator from Star Trek? Speaking in the language, whatever. Something to think about. Something else to think about. Google just announced that deal for glasses, right? Meta has Ray-Ban and Google has Warby Parker. What do you think is going to happen to those stocks? Even better, what do you think is happening in that space? Do you see how one event happens, then another event happens, and now we have another event happening? This is clearly the marriage between software and hardware. What other company did that and has a cult-like following? It is Apple. It's the only one. Name another hardware company that has that kind of stand on a line to spend $1,200, $1,300, whatever hundreds of dollars on a phone. Who else has a following like that? I'm a Mac, you're a PC. Who's got that? OpenAI is working in that direction. Facebook's not going to have that. Meta's not going to have that. You want to know why? Meta's hurting so bad that when you go to Facebook, the first thing you see might actually be an ad instead of a post by one of your friends. I hopped on today. Facts. I hopped on today. I saw 5 ads. As soon as the page came up, I saw 5 ads before I got to a friend's first post. So my friend's post was number 6. I saw 5 ads first. I'm done. I was done with X. Looks like I'm going to be done with Facebook, except for one group with friends that we've known each other since high school or before. Yeah, that'll be a wrap. I say this to you because if we're doing our own research, we're knowing of our entries and exits, and we're absolutely investing deliberately, then we should be paying attention to the signs that are there, right? We're quickly moving toward AI-driven hardware. Not hardware-driven AI. Right? AI-driven hardware. That's not small. Never a dull moment. Damn right. Maybe the hackers are the Doge employees Coinbase is trying to hire. See, I shouldn't have read that. I should not have read that. Use a little troublemaker. You look all innocent and everything, 8 paws. Use a little troublemaker. I mean, hypothetically, she could be right. But you know what I mean? Like, so when I look at crypto millionaires need personal security services. Yeah, did you hear about the guy in Uganda? At gunpoint, had to kick up like 500 grand. Yeah, it's no joke. Captain Banana, what's good? And you've invested in yourself. Thank you for letting me know. Can I ask you, what do I think of? I don't have any thoughts of it whatsoever. Never heard of it. And You should be telling me if it's a coin, if it's a company, if it's a coin, what's the market cap, what business they're in, blah, 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 blah. But I know you, so I know you're not shilling. But we would need that information to even have the conversation. So yeah, there's a lot of news that's going on out there. Galaxy Digital's Mike Novogratz predicts Bitcoin surge due to U.S. financial instability, BlackRock's Larry Fink support, and Trump's pro-crypto stance as Bitcoin nears 110. Actually, that was written earlier today, and then it passed 110 tonight, just now. U.S. Senate advances the Genius Act for stablecoin regulation. It does penalize algorithmic stablecoins. Yeah. It's a communication platform that is unreliable. Then why would you ask me about it? She was like, I hate it. I just wanted to know if you hate it too. Untraceable. Everything is traceable. And you're saying it's serious. You still having fights with Siri? I'm sorry, but that's funny. So you need to make up with Siri. You need to make up with Siri. What she's saying is Northstar is a communications platform that is untraceable. And I'm going to tell you now, everything at one point, at sooner or later, is traceable. It might not be traceable because you didn't hand over the keys to make it traceable or something else like that. But everything is traceable. You can get to it. If I can get to the human that did it, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I've never heard of it. I'll probably put it on a list to look it up. Is it a coin? It sounds like a business and not a coin. I wonder what their communications travel over. Because I don't want to have anything that deals with any one of the satellite companies. For obvious reasons. Ripple and Coinbase. Is that something on my... There you go. Okay, I'm fine. Ripple and Coinbase reportedly discussed $5.5 billion bid for Circle. We know that already. However, I think with today's events, Circle is thinking about that day, that possible deal with Coinbase. I think they're thinking about that. With everything that Coinbase has going on right now, I don't know if I would trust that guy. Brian Armstrong. I would absolutely trust Brad Garlinghouse before I would trust Brian Armstrong. Just saying. Allows you to send a Zach like a CC. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what that means. You're using symbols and stuff. I don't know what that means. To write it in English for me. Or maybe broken Spanish. You know, Bronx kind of Spanglish. I could do that. What else is there? All right. I think it's really funny because people have to make a bank by simply responding. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I think we're off course with that conversation now. Solana Mobile launches the Seeker 2 phone. It should be out August 4th, priced at about $500 with 150,000 pre-orders. I wonder if they're doing it again, if it actually comes with crypto, because remember before it came with crypto and people made big money off of it. Or who was that? Was it Solana? It was Solana, right? It was Solana. Let's see, Coinbase's data breach. We already spoke about that. I'm not going to let that go. XRP futures on CME hit $25.6 million in 2 days, outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum despite a 7% spot price decline to $2.39, reflecting growing institutional interest post-Ripple regulatory clarity. Yep. Because they know half of these institutions already had deals in the works with Ripple before the SEC lost their marbles. I try not to dwell on where we would be if the SEC hadn't gone after Ripple. Right? I wonder where we would be, but you let it go. And then even if you stop and think about it, when it came to the end, when it came down to it, it was anticlimactic. It did not bring on a boom or anything else like that. It just kind of cleared the way, which is still good. Don't get me wrong, still good. But it was, I expected more out of that. It was so anticlimactic. But I guess, it went the way it should have. Of course, spending $250 million to fight a case is still not good. I'm pretty sure, Ripple didn't appreciate that, but they're coming out ahead. I understand what you're I don't understand what you're talking about is what I'm saying. I don't know. I asked you if North Star was a company or a token. It sounds like they're a company. And I don't know what this conversation means. If they allow you to do something like that, then no, I'm not going to be interested in that company. That's disgusting. Okay, I've never heard that term. Maybe I'm old. I've never heard anybody say, I'm going to zap you some money. I've never heard that term. Never, not once. Of course, we live in different countries, so the slang might be different. Trump's $16 million crypto gala will host 220 Trump token holders, including Justin Sun and Meme Core, with the token price volatility around 70% of traders facing losses. Yeah, there are too many companies that want to be seen with the new regime. Too many people that want, and they paid for it. And guess what? That's not the only way that Justin Sun gave money. That he also bought into World Liberty Financial. Did the coin and World Liberty Financial. And I don't know if you realize how I feel about Justin Sun, but I don't think that's a good idea to be seen with Justin Sun. I don't like what he does. I don't like what he's about. I don't like his past. I don't like how he does business. I don't like anything about him. Yeah, he's the banana boy. He's the banana boy. Remember that? Banana taped to a freaking wall. He's the banana boy. He bought it. Excuse me, for millions. Heard he ate the banana. I wonder if he still has the tape. I wonder if the tape would be worth anything. I wonder if he saved the banana peel, like maybe preserved it and put it back with the tape. That would have been cool. But no. Just telling you, that Trump gala, it's gonna be ugly. But D-Mac, he's the ultimate scam artist that is worth billions. He's worth billions. Just saying. And we want that guy standing with the President of the United States going like this. That sound good to you? In any way? In any way? Yeah. I don't know about you, but I have issues. I have issues with it all. The whole thing. The whole thing. Not a little bit of the thing. The whole thing. Man, I had more news. But we don't have to get into all of it. I mean, I had about, let me see. Earlier, I had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 articles earlier, 10 just now. And this morning, we had 12. So for the day, 31 articles? For the day? Yeah, I think by the end of this month, we're probably going to be at 10,000. We'll probably be at 10,000. He came in at the right time? Are you kidding me? He scammed people at the right time, or allegedly scammed people at the right time, in my humble opinion. Do some research on that boy. He was actually one of the reasons why I tell you guys all the time, when you're doing your own research, understand who's involved with whatever you're researching. Know who they are, where they come from, what do they have to gain or lose. Just saying. But I can tell you now, Brian Armstrong is the CEO of a public company, and I think that's a problem. I think that if you're going to penalize banks for something like that, banks pay millions. They don't pay billions. They don't have to go through a lot, but there are ramifications for them having a data breach. There are ramifications. I've yet to see a single one for an exchange having a data breach. Oh, not just having the data breach, but waiting 5 months to tell anybody about it. I don't know. He should go pound the pavement. He's loaded. Go pound the pavement. Go find something else to do. In this role, you can't be trusted, in my humble opinion. And that's one of the reasons why I don't think Circle is a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea for Circle to allow themselves to be bought by a centralized exchange. I think they'd be better off getting bought by Ripple than a centralized exchange. Coinbase has problems. Coinbase has problems. Go do research on that. How many lawsuits they have, how many of this, how many of that. They're moving in the wrong direction. Remember how we used to get on Binance for handling compliance poorly? Well, I guess now we're looking at Coinbase saying, well, they handle their customers poorly. Just saying. Just saying. Right? That's kind of a big deal. That's kind of a big deal. And then you look at the laws around the world, laws are starting to catch up. I was talking about it earlier today. Texas, passed their Senate. I'm just saying, you have a lot of, for the Bitcoin reserve, you have a lot of laws that are happening around the world that we should probably be going like this, wide open. If I don't fall asleep, I'll do it. Captain Banana, if I don't fall asleep, I'll do it. Yeah, no, know your customer. I don't know about that. I don't know that I agree. I don't know that I agree with that. The amount of money that's being moved by, you know what? That's open for debate. KYC should be open for debate. We literally, over the past couple of weeks, have been hearing about several different, call it black market crypto exchanges that are operating. We've been hearing about that. If banks have to have KYC, but those exchanges get to operate, they're fully dedicated to the black market. So how many of them are actually going into regular banks? You know what I mean? I think the world needs to start thinking about how AI is going to affect the world. And I think the next thing that they have to think about is also how crypto is going to affect the world. Nobody, including myself, really has a clear idea about how to move forward with crypto. Like if everybody started accepting crypto, all the businesses out there started accepting crypto, I don't actually know that it's you. I know that I have access to a wallet. I walk over, I pick up a bag of chips, and boo-boo. And I walk out with my bag of chips. You don't really know who I am. If that was a credit card, well, my credit card is attached to me and everything else that I bought. You know who I am. That's not the case with crypto. If that's not disruptive to the current way of doing business, I don't know what is. And then AI. So last night we were standing up another node on our private, artificial intelligence network, right? And this particular node has images, is going to be used for multimedia. I tested it and I said, I just put in, my prompt was Amber Heard. It created an image of Amber Heard that looks so lifelike, so real, that it wasn't even funny. Put another picture next to it and I was like, you could tell that it's AI generated, and then you can't tell that it's AI generated. I did that with several people. And this was without tweaking the system to make it look even more lifelike. Like, hair isn't perfect, you know what I mean? There are a few strands that are out there even after you brush it. Well, I don't know about that, but anyway, there are a few strands out there that, you know, are still straggly. Nothing's perfect. And that image happened to be overly perfect. But if you think about what AI is going to do, what automation is going to do, what crypto is going to do, there are some big conversations that we need to have. There are some huge conversations that we need to have. I listened to the Elon Musk interview, what was it, yesterday or the day before? One of the two. And he's like, yeah, you know, you could buy a car and then instead of having it parked in your driveway, your car could be out making money for you. Fully autonomous driving. It's really where these people are at. In the United States, they already have you living a rental or leased life. You lease your apartment, you lease a house, you lease a car, lease. Always paying money. Never having something that's yours. You know what could wind up happening? What could wind up happening is you could have a whole bunch of people move to the Midwest where there's tons of land, creating their homestead, and they get to sit around watching Netflix and watching TV shows that might be made with AI. I told you the other day how Fortnite is being sued by SAG-AFTRA because they used AI for Darth Vader's voice without getting permission from SAG-AFTRA. AFTRA? Yeah, AFTRA. Yeah. So we're looking at a convergence of technology that's absolutely going to reshape life as we know it. You ever think about that? I mean, we're so focused on, you know, growing our bags, and I am. But this also can help us grow our bags by understanding what the future holds or what the future could hold. I don't necessarily invest in stocks all the time, but when I do, I'm not investing in a stock that's doing something right now. I'm investing in a stock that's doing something later. I want that long money. You know what I mean? That's what I want. That's what I want. I look at how companies, how big companies, the companies that we have now, the big companies that we have now can fall. IBM isn't what it used to be. GE is not what it used to be. Ma Bell is not what it used to be. See where I'm going with that? Who remembers Kodak? But the youngins don't. I bet the youngins don't. Yep, probably the ETH and N. I understand, Captain Banana. Like I said, I'm tired today. I might forget. Just remind, if I don't talk about it, remind me again tomorrow. Polaroid, damn. Yeah, remember Polaroid? Remember Xerox used to be big? Yeah, they might still exist. Don't get me wrong. A lot of these companies still exist. Some of them don't. But they were all titans at one point. Who are the titans now? See where this is going? Some of these titans are going to have problems. Some of these titans are going to have problems. Captain Banana, thank you. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you. Go Fatima, what's going on? First, before I answer your question, Fatima, you have to answer mine. You know the question. Answer that, and then I'll give you an answer. Shoot, we all used Kodak film back in the day. All the metaverse I see are still cartoon like. Oh, dude, no, dude. Oh, man. As you all know, I am a principal member of the Metaverse Standards Forum. We see a lot of the stuff that's going on in the metaverse way before everybody else. So I'm a principal member. NVIDIA is a principal member. Microsoft is a principal member. Yeah, I play with them. And I have to tell you, what you see now, that's not it. Have you seen some of the metaverse games? Dude, where you been? I don't think you've seen everything. If you're still like, oh, it's cartoon-like. Some of these things are, they're amazing. Amazing. We're talking about interoperability. We're talking about you're over here in this metaverse and you want to go over to that metaverse. Sure, you could do that, but can I take my clothes with me? Can I take my hair with me? Again, I keep telling you guys, watch Ready Player One. Watch Ready Player One. It's interesting. Of course I did. Invested and not finished. Good girl. Good evening. Can we have a class or learning session about the future of AI, potential, and investment? If you guys want a private class, I'm willing to do a private class. I would need at least 5 people to sign up. And I'll gladly do it. I will gladly do it. I can speak with you about what my company's doing, what other companies are doing. I can speak with you about private AI networks, public AI networks, private tools, public tools, how they can be used, how they're being integrated with automation, robotics, that kind of thing. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. They can make AI YouTube video of yourself that you can't tell the difference. That's right. No joke. They absolutely can. There are websites out there right now. So on our multimedia side, I copied my voice. I copied my voice and gave it an English accent. What's a spot of tea? Yeah, no. I gave it that. I just wanted to see. It sounds like me. Maybe a hair bit more bass, but it sounds like me. Like you'd sit there and you'd be like, "Oh, that's him. Why is he talking like that?" Like the words that I was using, how I was enunciating things because of the English accent. But yeah, I could literally create an article summary, marry an image to it, and it'll sound like me when it gets out there. You guys know it's not going to be free, right? I'm just saying. You know, I got to make money too. I mean, it's not going to be crazy either. But yeah, there's technology out there right now that literally, if I sit here and I talk just like this, I don't move my head, I only move my lips, and I barely move my face so it doesn't have facial expression. If I sit here and do this, there's software out there right now, AI out there right now, that will make a video that looks so much like me that you would never be able to tell. Like you'd have to be in the business to actually pick up on the tiny little things. Oh, you see that pixel over here? Well, when Eddie talks, his cheek does move over here. Slightly, but it does move. Well, in that image, you can see him talking, looks like him, sounds like him, but right here did not move. That's how deep it goes. And every now and then when I make stupid faces, yeah, it's like that. When I talk about disruption, I'm not talking, everybody goes, oh, AI is going to disrupt everything. No, don't be stupid. Think about all of the other technology out there that already exists that AI can either replace or enhance. AI with automation, AI with robotics, AI agents that know how to talk to other agents to get them to do what they need to do so that they can do what they need to do so that that one can do what it can do, and so on and so forth and so on and so forth. It's not as small as what people think. Trading Maverick, what's good? And you invested in yourself. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, when I talk to you guys about investing, I know I talk a lot about crypto. I try to talk to you about stocks and things like that. That OpenAI deal with Johnny Ivy, let me tell you something. That's not small. You're literally talking about an AI company that's about to get into the serious hardware business. They're working with the guy that developed the iPhone. Created the iPhone. Do you know how many things are in that iPhone to make it the iPhone? To do what it does at that size? Yeah. That guy. AI with that guy's imagination. You're talking about a guy who was a part of the team that made the Dick Tracy watch real. Put video in your hands. Now, arguably, there are tons of other companies that, you know, might even do a better job. I don't care about that. I care that he is the developer of that phone. An iconic phone. Arguably the first of its kind. And now he's teamed up with OpenAI. Here's why it's important for OpenAI to actually buy that company and get him on board. And by the way, he went back to Apple and poached somebody else from Apple to come with him over there. Because remember, he left Apple to start his own company. This deal came along. He was like, hey, don't you want to come with me? Oh, you do? Yeah, that's right. Let's go. Yeah, like that. I had a friend do that to me once. He got like the primo job and was like, hey, what are you doing? No. Come with me. Let's go. Yeah. You don't turn those deals down. You go. And so I went. Best thing ever. Guy's name was Alan Cost. Great guy. Mr. Network. Knows everything about firewalls, all that stuff. So yeah, when I look at the impact of technology, I don't like to sit down with people and speak with them about, you know, what does a computer do? Or how would you use a computer? It's more like, what's your problem? If you're here, where are you trying to be? Where you're trying to be might not be like that. Where you're trying to be might, you know what I mean? I want to know that. That's what helps me help you. I think like that. All the cool stuff that I do, my team does a bunch of cool stuff. I'm lucky to have that team that does a bunch of cool stuff. I was having lunch with a client. It was really nice to whip out my laptop and show her that I had 3 or 4 different LLMs running at the same time. Large language models. 4 different ones, or 3 different ones running at the same time that were then talking to another one. That did something. Was automated process, came back and gave me what I needed. She was like, wow, why'd you do that? I was like, well, because I can give that information to OpenAI or one of these other platforms, or I could have my own platform and really take my internal data to the next level. Imagine what I can do. Let's just call it 10,000, right? I mean, we were at over 9,500 a few days ago. Might as well call it 10,000, right? Call it a few weeks. We'll be there at 10,000. A couple of weeks. So if you're thinking about in a few weeks we'll have 10,000 articles, that's awesome. But what can I do with those 10,000 articles? I could literally tell AI, for the past 3 years, tell me the impacts, the most impactful news events for Cardano. Tell me how this person is connected to this person. Right? Who's that guy from Footloose? Show me how they were connected. Have they ever been in the same room? Have they ever touched the same project? Has one project come out of this person's mouth that the other person is working on? Imagine the data that I'd be able to analyze. 10,000 pieces of articles. 10,000 pieces of content. Imagine that. Interesting, right? Go back and tell me everything that I've ever said about Google, about OpenAI, about the metaverse. Oof. And that's on the simple side. I'm not even talking to you about the real stuff that we're contemplating. That's the simple stuff. There you go, Kevin Bacon. That's who I was talking about. Thank you, Hutanic. Yeah. 9 votes. Should Coinbase be forgiven for not notifying everybody about the data breach? 100% no. You might as well just end it. 100% said no. 100%. Nope. Think about that. Just think about that. So when I tell you guys to do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately, this is what I mean. The world isn't just crypto. It can't just be crypto. You gotta diversify. Gotta diversify. All of your bags, because that would be putting all your eggs in a single basket, literally. You could have different bags in crypto, but it's still just crypto. Now you see where I'm going with that. I got to go, but I wanted to end with some good news. So everybody knows that the little critters around my area got to my garden, had the most wonderful, the most awesome salad they could have. They ate all my dill, all my cilantro, all my spinach, all my basil. They ate all of it. But luckily, I had planted, I want to say like 70 or 80, seedlings. I planted all that. Well, I didn't plant them, but I started the seedlings and everything else. I had extra. I was able to replant. Yes, covering them up. Excuse me, not today because it was raining, but I'll cover them up tomorrow. I'll go to Home Depot and I'll get the stuff and cover it, and it'll still get sun and everything. And I'll also go outside and plant the strawberries. Yeah, Farmer John. Why? Because things are getting expensive. Now, for all those people that want a class, here's a question for you. If you were going to meet with a real technologist that really understood this technology and you wanted to have a private class, what's that worth to you? What number would you put on that? And I'm asking an honest question. I did this the last time. The last time I started a class, I did this the last time, and I came up with numbers, and I said, which one should it be? Some people picked high, some people picked low. We settled on a number, and that was the price of the class. So I'm asking you now, what should that class be? All right? Everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes. Definitely tell everybody about this community because it's a totally different community than everybody else's. And we kind of have fun. Just saying. At least I do. I hope you do. But anyway, everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And hold it. Both. It could be either one. What kind of class you want and how much do you want it to be? And by training, I want to know, what do you want it to be? Somebody else asked me for training. Offline had asked me about training. And I was like, oh. And not only did she want training, but she wanted me to tell her how to put together a box, her own box. And she was like, can't you do that? And I was like, yeah, we could. She was like, well, then do that for me then, please. And I was like, she was like, I'll pay you. It's not a problem. I can pay you. I was like, so yeah, it can be anything you want. So tell me, all of you have my email address. Everybody that's asked me, that raised their hand for this, you all have my email address or have an email address that I will get to. Tell me what kind of class you want, what you would like to see in that class, and tell me how much you think that class is worth. And let me know what your timing for that class would be. An upcoming Sunday, not going to be a Saturday. It could be a Sunday. Just let me know. All right. Everybody that wanted a class, let me know. All right. Send me an email. Everybody has an email address. Send me an email. All right. Everybody, have a good one. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, I mean this, thank you for your trust. Everybody have a good one. Bye-bye.